Always ready, always there. That is the motto of our National Guard, our citizen soldiers who since 1636 have been prepared at all times as the first line of defense for our country. When a natural disaster strikes, hurricanes, wildfires, tsunamis, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, who do we call? We call the National Guard. When a human-made disaster strikes, chemical spills, large-scale electrical power outages, who do we call? We call the National Guard. When states and local governments get overwhelmed because of situations beyond their control, who do those governors, mayors, and state legislatures call? They call the National Guard. When a global health pandemic cripples the country, who do we call? We call the National Guard. And when an assault on our nation's capital, a deadly insurrection happens, who do we call to protect this hallowed beacon of democracy, to ensure a safe, peaceful transfer of power can occur? We called the National Guard. And every single time, always ready, always there, the National Guard has answered the call. Our National Guard keeps us safe and has done so since the inception of our democracy. Following the deadly January 6th insurrection and leading up to the inauguration of our president and vice president on January 20th, Congress called upon the National Guard, and an unprecedented 26,700 guardsmen from across the country were deployed to secure our nation's capital and protect the very lawmakers and staff that work in this capital. The Guard then continued to serve and support civil authorities in Washington, D.C. for the next 137 days. They left their families. Many took unexpected leave from their civilian jobs during a health pandemic to report to our nation's capital. They stood watch 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, many times in the frigid cold, in the dark of night. Many of us got to know them personally. We brought them food, coffee. We met them on the ramp at Andrews Air Force Base. We took pictures on the Capitol. We shook their hands and thanked them and their families for their service. Our National Guard fulfilled their duty bravely and completed their mission. Now it's Congress's turn to not only pay our respects, but pay the bill that's due. What bill? What am I talking about? Well, it costs $521 million to protect our nation's capital for those 137 days. National Guard leadership, adjutant generals, and state governors sent their guardsmen to our nation's capital with the promise that those funds would be repaid in a timely manner. As a result, Army and Air National Guard paid for the Capital Response Mission, fronted the money from their own fiscal year 21 funding. Time is of the essence, and we must pay them the money we owe them immediately and before August 1st. The reality is, if we fail to issue reimbursements by August 1st, there will be real consequences. The National Guard Bureau has already sent out notices to states regarding canceling remaining annual training days and/or canceling August and September drills. If training is canceled, several thousand guardsmen will not have enough service time this fiscal year to receive credit for a good year toward military retirement. Approximately 2,000 functional and occupational training schools will be canceled, affecting their readiness, pay, and career progression. Ground training, vehicle training, and rotary wing operations and maintenance will be halted. Air National Guard flying operations will be negatively impacted as they just only now begin the recovery from the effects of the pandemic. The 54th Security Forces, Assistance, Brigade Combat Training Center rotation next month in August will be canceled. Without reimbursement by August 1st, it will take years to recover our readiness, which will be immediately impacted and decreased by up to 20%. Now, those are some of the operational and readiness impacts of not meeting that August 1st deadline. But the real damages, my colleagues, are the profound personal impacts which will have an immediate effect on the morale of those soldiers and airmen, their families, and retention across the 54 states and territories. The increased psychological stress on our National Guard service members and families in an already highly stressed environment is absolutely unacceptable. They're being asked to suffer, to sacrifice, because this body, Congress, is unable to meet its end of a good faith agreement with state leaders fully expecting to be reimbursed and not having to, quote unquote, take it out of hide, which is what the National Guard is being asked to do now. To put it simply, guardsmen, and I hear from them every single day, are in absolute disbelief that after all they have done this last year, answering our nation's call, that this is how they are being treated. Madam Speaker, today is July 21st. We have 11 days. We must take immediate action. I urge all of us in Congress to swiftly come to an agreement on an appropriations emergency bill that includes full reimbursement of $521 million for our National Guard by August 1st. That is the least we can do for our citizen soldiers and their families who are always ready and always there. Mahalo, and I yield back.
The gentleman's time has expired.